You know, I can't help noticing Nintendo have developed an annoying habit of making something awesome that everyone loves, and then decides, nobody needs this. Yeah, if March 31st didn't tell you anything, 3D All-Stars is a top seller, Mario 35 is a hit, and they want to take it all away from us. But that's not what we're talking about today. Not too long ago, I thought I'd look online to find another Sonic Amiibo because 5 years ago, I basically destroyed mine. But here's the thing, for most Amiibo that aren't recent, no retailers have them. Not online, no dedicated gaming stores, and certainly do not look for them on second-hand sites, especially you, eBay. Seriously, $200, $400 for something I paid like $17? And then I tried something different. I went to both JB Hi-Fi and EB Games. For my US viewers, that's Best Buy and GameStop. Don't ask me why they have different names. If they had any Amiibo in stock, any at all, from 2014 to present, new or pre-owned. Yeah, no, sorry mate, before I even finish the sentence. Whenever we do get Amiibo in stock, people buy them up really quickly, and in the rare times people do trade them in, someone else picks them up almost immediately. But the Banjo-Kazooie Amiibo comes out next week if you want to pre-order that. And then Terry fell off the shelf. Hey, what you doing? Okay then. Okay, so to understand the bigger picture, let's circle back to the beginning. Amiibo's first wave were released in 2014 and were comparable to things such as Skylanders and Disney Infinity. Heck, they weren't even the first attempt to use the Wii U's NFC scanner. Amiibo were first shown to contain AI companions to train with in Smash Bros, but promised more utility in other games as well. And this appealed to many, as not only were they collectible figures, and ones of fantastic quality too, I may add, they had multiple uses throughout the many games you had and would continue to get. But the problem started when they turned out to be more successful than Nintendo anticipated, as some figures did not have enough stock produced, and figures such as Marth and Villager became very rare, and people scrambled to get their hands on them, which started the oh-so-feared scalper market on sites such as eBay. This would later be remedied as more were produced, and more waves of future Amiibo came to be, not just for Smash Bros, but other franchises as well, and Nintendo were always finding new uses for them during the Wii U and 3DS era. One of my favorites were a free download that allowed you to scan an Amiibo you have, and a random NES or SNES game would be assigned to it, so now you could play parts of that game every time you scanned the Amiibo. And you could skip to different parts of it by scanning again, and if you were really interested in that game, you could tap an icon and go straight to the eShop to get it. Another free Amiibo game is Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge, which is pretty much the same as the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games featuring Mini Mario, but this time you have all the Mario characters at your disposal by tapping their Amiibo, and there are dedicated areas for each. Also, this was available on both the Wii U and the 3DS. If you had the old one, you needed this scanner accessory. Anyone remember that? There was only ever these two free games that required Amiibo to play, and it would have been cool to see this concept continue on. But then there was Scott's nightmare.
Tackle is
In 2015, Nintendo released Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which is, for all intensive purposes, was just a board game. And while similar to Mario Party, it was stripped down by comparison. The game required no buttons, just Amiibo. Except it was a full-priced $80 game in a box with 2 Amiibo, and the game itself was literally just a board game, so it ended up being a bit of a failure, but clearly Nintendo were not expecting this because they made an entire line of Animal Crossing Amiibo, and there were a lot of them. But they didn't sell well. I didn't even have to research that part because for 2 years, every time I went to a retailer, I would always see many of them hanging on a wall or sitting on a shelf, untouched, and had no purpose outside of Amiibo Festival until Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer came out on the 3DS in 2016, and later an update to New Leaf. But these got a new line of Amiibo in the form of Amiibo cards, which would release in multiple seasons you could buy in packs, and had collectible books to store them in, and were noticeably more successful, but it's entirely possible Nintendo regretted producing so many Animal Crossing figures. And if you would have thought the hype had died down with Animal Crossing Amiibo, you'd be wrong. Splatoon got a line of Amiibo, and one of the first 3-packs, but people went as far as to hijack a supply truck to get their hands on them, halting supply to retailers for a period of time. Just, why would you... No, don't. Why would you do that? Either way, Amiibo would continue to be popular and in demand for other franchises, especially in 2017 with Zelda Breath of the Wild. During the Zelda 30th anniversary, there were many Zelda-themed Amiibo released, with more coming over time, as well as ones made for Breath of the Wild, but they were disappearing quickly. I think it's just incredible how I was able to get my hands on the ones I have. Also, unrelated, when I got my Shovel Knight Amiibo, I think they put it on the shelf a day early by accident, and I just went for it. Some Zelda Amiibo I missed out on entirely, like the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask ones, which I never once saw in stores or ever in person for that matter. Once at EB Games I saw a lone Skyward Sword Amiibo among many Twilight Princess ones, so I snagged it, which I do not regret, and somehow the Goddess Sword in Breath of the Wild is stronger than the Master Sword. What? The Goddess Sword is the version of the Master Sword before it was upgraded to be powerful and repel evil. And I thought since there were so many Twilight Princess ones, I could probably pick one up another time. Mind you, I was 17 and had no job at the time. Not everyone can just buy as many Amiibo as they want in one go. And for those who do, please stop scalping them for 8 times their original prices. And yeah, you can safely guess after that day I never saw another Twilight Princess Link. I mean, I still had the Smash Bros. One from 2014, so that counts in Breath of the Wild, I guess. And there would still be so many awesome Amiibo through the year, from Metroid to Super Mario Odyssey. By the way, that includes a literal box of cereal. And here I was thinking Amiibo had made the transition to the Nintendo Switch safely, but how could I predict what happened next? While during 2018, I would notice an abundance in Amiibo available for purchase. Like EB Games had a big bin of them, not too many were being released, and that continued into 2019. As well as with most new Amiibo only being ones from the Smash Bros. Roster, which keeps expanding with more DLC to this day. But it was starting to look like Nintendo were no longer caring about Amiibo. The new ones that were being released had limited stock unless it was Richter and Ken. No idea why. And more astonishingly, during this period of time, Nintendo were not incorporating Amiibo features into their games. There were a few, but not many. Even when Super Mario Maker 2 released, it had no Amiibo support whatsoever, which was a shock as Amiibo support was one of the biggest features of the original Mario Maker. I don't understand why Nintendo have been avoiding adding Amiibo features into their first-party titles for so long. It seems very apparent that Amiibo were not a priority anymore. And it was very possible that with this lack of support and lack of supply, they may have planned to slowly phase them out until recently, bringing us back to today. Remember how I made a video talking about Wii U games that needed to come to Switch, and 2 of them were announced before I had a chance to upload? Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury builds on what was already a fantastic game, and tweaks many of the aspects to make it even better, including adding Amiibo support, and coming alongside this were a bundle of Cat Mario and Cat Peach. How awesome is that? Wait, it's $44? Weird, I swear triple packs were way cheaper than that. By the way, way after their first week, while still being available online, they have become impossible to find in stores. This is why! By the way, I asked about how fast the new 3 Amiibo sold out. Turns out, Byleth sold out on day 1, with Banjo following 2 days later, and Terry is still on the shelf now. So in conclusion, Amiibo are currently impossible to get your hands on brand new, as Nintendo don't produce enough of them. Getting them online or secondhand is an absolute ripoff. I hope you're happy, scalpers. And not many developers are backing them functionally, which takes away an incentive to buy. Which are the 3 biggest problems Amiibo currently face, as I can't imagine Amiibo continuing to be a success if they are A, not readily available to consumers, B, don't have any use in current games, but these pieces of plastic do have a lot of love towards them and many value collecting them, myself included. Look at my collection, went from this to okay, maybe I have a bit of a problem. And their potential utility is endless. It doesn't have to be much, but bonuses, or a game mode, or costume, or a hidden character, or little exclusive things that's pretty neat but doesn't have to make players who don't have the Amiibo feel left out. Heck, it could even serve as an easier way to obtain features or items already part of the game. Even some third-party developers have made use of Amiibo on the Switch platform, although you could have given me more than a random item per day, Mega Man 11. And so, as I sit here guarding my Banjo-Kazooie Amiibo that I know won't do anything outside of Smash Bros. Because the Banjo-Kazooie games are only on Xbox, I still think, will I ever own Majora's Mask Link? Probably not, it costs like $300 on eBay, and I really wanted the Fierce Deity set for Breath of the Wild. I wonder if its sequel will have the same features. Probably not, it's most likely they'd cut them. I honestly don't understand Nintendo's business practices. I'm still grieving at the loss of Super Mario 35, and you took away one of the only few things that made your online service worth it, and then replaced it with Pac-Man. Jeez, I wonder how long it would take before 3D All-Stars disappears completely. You know, aside from allowing you to play games online, something you previously didn't need to pay extra for, it's been like 3 years and I still don't think the Switch Online service provides enough to make it worth other than holding a basic feature ransom. And that holds true for my Nintendo too. My star points are slowly expiring and there's pretty much nothing to spend them on. And using them as credit for eShop purchases is just laughable. Say, what if you made Amiibo rewards for collecting star points? I'd even take Amiibo cards, honestly. But yeah, this was my in-depth look at the current state of Amiibo, and I guess a history lesson of them too. Well, anyway, this is the end of the video, so stay tuned, and stay awesome. Oh yeah, and Amiibo Workshop is coming back.